Vasha Zindros, thank you so much for joining me on the Fact Up podcast. Normally we'd be talking about your food,
Good stuff.
new dishes, and good stuff in general. Yes, today the events of the world that kind of dictate a different type of conversation. You are the owner of Mezes Restaurant in Toronto's Greektown, easily ranked in the top 5 every year for the past gazillion years.
Thank you.
I want to kind of ask first and foremost about Mezes Restaurant. What makes it so popular? Why is it such a go-to? And why has it been such a go-to for so many people over the years?
I'm going to tell you what I hope the reasons are. Anyway, um, so this restaurant really is a labor of love. It always has been. My dad started this restaurant truly with absolutely no business owning a restaurant, just a will and a dream and a true belief that this was a way to share love and share our tradition and our history and a love of family. And he started this place really with just a hope in his heart, and it turned into this really beautiful thing that has extended into 20 years plus of that meaning, which was just share love through food, share good times, make memories, more than just meals, experiences. I think that that's what people get when they come here. I think the true love of what we do is evident in the food, in the service, in generally the ambiance when you come in. It's casual, but it's so special. And I think that that's what keeps people coming through the doors. I mean, I can give you that, it's consistency and it's familiarity and it's really good portions and delicious food and it's all those things. But more than that, I think it is the feeling you have when you sit at any one of these tables. It's like sitting in the kitchen with my mom and my grandma while they prepare the meal, telling you stories about, the Choreo, the village, and growing up there, there's an energy in the air that I think really does stem from, I know it sounds a little corny, but it stems from love. There's so much love in these 4 walls, truly, and I think that's what people keep coming back for.
I knew you weren't giving me a corporate answer when I could almost feel the tears almost going down the face, because that's a very genuine and heartfelt answer. And I host 2 food tours in Greektown, and I always tell people it's not just about the food, although a lot of it is. It's about the experience, and it's about the fact that a lot of these places are family owned, and it's not just the recipe that's been fine tuned for decades, if not a century, but it's the family name that goes into that recipe. And so if it's made poorly, which is not the case, and if it's made well, people are going to remember not just the dish, but where it's from and the family that's behind it.
Oh, good. I love that. Thank
right?
you. Because so important to us. So important.
Right. Everything.
Yeah.
But here comes a global pandemic to mess it all up.
Yeah. Well, that's what it would take, to be quite honest with you. It'd have to be something large scale like that.
Right. Well, how has this pandemic affected you on a personal level, and in your family, obviously, on a personal level, and on a professional level when it comes to Mezes Restaurant?
So on a personal level, I think this is a really singular experience for every person on this planet, I think, and that when else are we collectively experiencing something truly? It has no borders, it has no class, it spares no one. Nothing, no country, no geographical region. We are all experiencing this tremendous, humbling, heartbreaking experience, to be honest. I think it equalizes us, which is a good thing. I think we needed that. And I think it gives us an opportunity to show our humanity and our kindness. And, instances like this, like you're talking about the tears, they're going to come. Watch me.
Yeah. I have that effect on people.
But personally, it's been really difficult. And I think that is, it's a very simple way to put it, but I think everybody can sort of understand what I mean by that. There is, for the most part, most of us are lucky enough to be healthy and to not be directly impacted by this virus, at least not yet. But It's about how it could potentially affect our neighbors, our coworkers, our family. That means we have to really bond together and we have to make sacrifices to keep everyone safe. That's an amazing thing. And it can be if we use it in the right way and we learn the right lessons from it. And I'm trying to stay positive. I've got two beautiful boys at home who are just, they're scared and they're bored, and they've got a lot of questions I do not have answers to. No one does. I think that's another interesting thing about this experience, that the people we typically turn to for answers don't have them because everyone's kind of making it up as they go along. I am hopeful that this experience is going to teach us all something really valuable, and I think that we will be better for it. That's not just pretty words. That's truly what I feel. I have seen, and then tying into sort of the business aspect of it, I have seen some incredible acts of kindness from neighbors, and our staff, our beautiful, beautiful staff, who have shown us, the first day we had to shut down, they showed up with paint cans and sanders, like, let's do the floors, let's touch up the paint, let's do a deep clean of the kitchen, like just trying to use the time to make this place better, because this is our home away from home. We've seen neighbors come by to order food, but also just to check on us, make sure we're okay, see if there's anything they can do. Can they, is there anything they can spread on social media in terms of getting people through the doors, trying to support not just local businesses, but families and the people around them. It's been an incredible experience of kindness and compassion. But on a business level, it is unlike anything you could ever be prepared for. It is so hard. It is so hard to open the doors every day in this very limited way that we get to keep doing what we love, trying to take care of our employees, and make sure that we are creating and encouraging a business that they can return to, and that they will continue to be lucrative and will continue to be successful, so that they can continue to do what they do and what they love and support their families doing so. It feels like a tremendous amount of pressure because we want to do it well and we don't know how, because nobody knows really what's going on at the end of the day.
Years and years of being in the restaurant industry as a photographer, as a writer, the one thing that I've always taken away from every restaurant owner is the praise for staff. Staff. And I've also been told you have to be crazy to open a restaurant generally. But over the years, you become embedded into the community. Your staff becomes family. So were you at all surprised at how the community responded when all this happened to the neighborhood small businesses in Greektown?
I don't know that I was surprised. I don't think I was surprised at all. I mean, we've had, several instances, unfortunately, there was the shooting in Greektown 2 years ago, and we really saw the community rally then and support businesses, support our staff. We've seen glimmers of that. This is on such a different level because everyone is scared and everyone is confused and everyone has questions and everyone has concerns, and yet they are managing to put that aside and offer, kind words to a neighbor, offer support. We're doing this incredible, I think, initiative. We, in the early days, trying to figure out a way to make some good out of this. We thought, okay, how can we, get people through the doors, first of all, so that we create work for the people that we're lucky enough to have here. But also to give back and to do our part to take care of this neighborhood that's taking care of us. And so we decided that we would match every takeout meal in-house with a meal to someone in need. And then we were fortunate enough to connect with Eastview Community Food Bank, which is an amazing organization, by the way, and the volunteers there are incredible. And we've had so many people come in. And, this is a difficult time for people. They don't know when they'll get back to work, how they'll get back to work, will they make their mortgages, Will they not be able to pay their bills? Everyone is in such a state of uncertainty. And still people are coming in and saying, you know, we're here to order takeout. We're going to have a family meal in tonight. And we also want to donate $20, add an extra meal, please, to the food bank. These are people who don't know necessarily what the next few months look like. And they're still willing to give with all their hearts to make sure that people who really don't have right now are taken care of. It's been an amazing experience for us. Sorry about this year.
Not at all. That's the whole point. Because you know what? Go ahead.
Sorry, no, it just, you know, when your back's up against the wall, you really don't know. You don't know what your instinct is going to be. Because the truth is, you know, on a purely primal level, our instinct is to take care of ourselves first. And what I have seen, which is the most incredible experience, I think, is that that is not people's instinct. For the most part, people's instinct really is to take care of the people around them. That gives me hope. And that makes me so very, very proud of the community we live in, of the city we live in, the country we live in. We are taking care of each other. We're taking it one day at a time. None of us are sure what's going to happen, but we are moving forward with love and with kindness. And that, to me, is pretty amazing.
You know, it's this is why I do these things, because it gives people an opportunity to hear something that isn't negative.
Mm-hmm.
The news is flooded with news. I get it, and information, and it's constantly changing, as you said as well. And then it turns kind of towards the negative, and maybe there's a couple of minutes at the end of every broadcast where there's a bit of a positivity. To hear you say those things, those are heartfelt emotions, and I feel like, have you been holding that inside for a while?
Oh no, I let it out every day.
Okay. You know, so
No,
it's
I do, because you try to keep, you know, again, I have, for our staff, you know, I don't want every time I see them walk in the door to break down into tears, because
right.
I want to feel like I know what I'm doing. I don't. I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm making it up. But again, I'm leading with love, and I'm leading with compassion, and I'm leading with kindness. And I feel like whatever the outcome of that is, I can't regret it at the very least. And I have to believe that that amounts to something. I do.
You know what? There was somebody who recently told me that the businesses that are going to make it through this are the ones that have, you know, all hands on deck, and the ones that the ones who can actually take care of not only their customers but general humanity. And people remember that. And so when it goes back to being a new type of normal, people will remember, you know what, that Mezes restaurant, man, did they do that and this and that. I'm going to go back and I'm going to make myself a regular if I haven't already. So it just sounds like you've coped fairly well. You've adapted, but you've also got a lot of help from the community as well.
Oh my goodness. And it's our staff. I know I'm going to keep saying it.
Yeah.
I'm going to keep saying it because we have 40 employees, exactly 40 employees. These people are, when I say family, I mean truly, most of them, especially our floor staff, have been with us in excess of 20 years. You know, they started working for my dad, then they worked for my mom, and now here we are, one big happy family. We've grown up together. And, you know, in a business like this, it's very, it's busy, it's high intensity, it's unpredictable, and it's tough. It's tough to work with the same people day in and day out in this kind of environment. Anyone who has ever worked in a restaurant in any capacity knows exactly what I mean. And we are, we do. We sometimes take for granted what an incredible thing we have here, and what an incredible family we've become. And in this time, I have to say, I have never felt more gratitude for anything in my life than I feel for the people who work here and who've made this place what it is and will continue to when all this is over. They work so hard, and they check in. I mean, in the early days, they were still coming by, and then now everybody is being very respectful and responsible and staying home. But they check in all the time. What can we do? What do you need? It gives me such, I'm not 100% sure what we did to earn and deserve that kind of goodness and loyalty. but I'm immensely grateful for it. And I want them to know that however this works out and however long this takes, I will never stop working to make sure that they have a place to come every day to work at, that they are proud to work for, and they feel respected and loved. And and that's a gift that they gave me to remind me how very, very fortunate we are for the experience that we get to live through every day.
Well, usually when people like you work that hard, it's really hard to see what the viewpoint is from the outside because you're so involved from the inside, making it what you're making it.
But
And so when you're working that hard to make that experience the best experience it could possibly be, you step outside and you actually take a second, because you have one potentially, to look at it from the outside. And then you're surprised at how amazing that response has been and continues to be and will continue to be, obviously. Um, I guess my next question is, what is the restaurant experience from your end going to look like when all of this goes back to maybe the new normal? Are you cutting down tables? Are you keeping the tables but putting plexiglass around every table? What does the restaurant experience look like at Mezes Restaurant when this becomes the new normal down the road?
can you imagine? Oh, so I think that yeah, because no, truly,
Yeah.
truly, I wonder just on a large scale, aside from the restaurant, just life in general, how does it ever go back to what we know? And I'm a little afraid, to be honest, of a lifetime of plexiglass dividers and 6 foot distance and markers on the ground to tell you how close you can and cannot approach your neighbor. um, that is frightening to me. That is frightening to me. And what do we do to adapt to that? Because again, that it's very possible that that becomes a normal for everyone. I mean, I think immediately, I think we'll definitely be removing some tables, which is going to be hard because as we try to recover from this, once we get the green light to go ahead and open our doors again, it's not going to be the same. It's not going to be the same. It's not going to be the same for people's level of comfort. It's not going to be the same for what we're able to offer. I mean, it's going to be slow moving. I don't know. I think I can't wrap my brain around what this means for all of us. Honestly, not just for the restaurant. For kids at school, for grocery shopping, for parks, like days in the park, when we've gotten now used to, and again, how long will we be used to it? I don't know. You can't congregate in large groups. You can't park too close. You can't picnic too close. Those are, to me, more frightening, and how we adapt is more frightening than the virus, than the unknowns. Is how do we ever become comfortable being comfortable with each other again? That worries me. It does.
Right.
And how we will manage to I don't know, make that work in a restaurant setting, because anyone who's been here on a Saturday night knows that you can't get any closer to the table beside you or your wait staff or the busboy. And that's again part of the energy we spoke about earlier, that life, that's what it is closeness.
Yep.
And when you eliminate that, what does that mean? I'm not sure. I know we're going to do our very best to recreate that sense, no matter what implementations need to be put forth to keep people safe. But again, making it up as we go along.
That's it. And I, brings me to the next question about the government funding. I mean, you guys have a mortgage, you guys have rent, you have staff, you have food, you have production, you have everything. The government comes out with a kind of a small business kind of game plan, loans instead of grants. Do you find that the new game plan from the government, no interest until January or for a year, is it fair? What's missing? Is it enough for the restaurants and the small business in general?
My personal opinion, and again, I want to preface everything I say here by saying that I think I am a huge proponent of intention. Do I think that the intention here is good? Absolutely. Do I think that this is not about politics, this is not about policy, this is about a government really trying to do the best they can in a situation no one was prepared for? 100%, absolutely. Do I think that what the government is currently proposing is enough? Absolutely not. And that's not, it's not a criticism. It's just, I think it's very hard to understand what it is like for small businesses right now, particularly if you do not have a small business. I don't know who is consulting on the programs the government is putting forth. I can assure you it is not a small business owner. Um, it, and again, it's not about saying that it's not enough. It's, which it isn't. um, but it's not for the lack of like effort or thought put into it. It's that I don't think it's possible for them to really understand how many pressures there are on a small business to function, how small our margins are on a day-to-day basis. And this was not something that we were prepared for, that we could have planned for, that we could have, most small businesses have a contingency plan that maybe lasts 2 months, that covers them 2 months. This is on a whole other scale. This is not in any means manageable. I do not believe that small businesses can recover on like by and large with the aid put in place right now. I just don't. And I say that not just from our experience. We're a long-standing business. We've been very fortunate to be here for a really long time, and it's so difficult for us. I cannot imagine what it is for someone who is just starting out. And by starting out, I mean the first 5 years, because that is, there's still so many costs to recoup and variables. And I absolutely think that there needs to be more done. Deferments are not necessarily the answer at this point. Piling up debt that will be owed, particularly because we don't have any idea how we get back to a new normal of business. Will we be able to open the doors and fill our 80 seats? Very doubtful. And when does that happen? A year from now? Our overhead is the same. Our rent is the same. Again, we're very fortunate to have a very generous landlord who's, offered to help us in any way he can. But at the end of the day, he's also got his own bills to worry about, his own mortgage to worry about. And that always has to be a concern for us. So I think the short of it is that I think the government's intention is good. I think the execution will fail. And that is not, again, not to say that it's not good enough. It's just the scale of it is too huge. The losses are too huge. The debt is too huge.
And when you have 800,000 people across the country that are, in the service industry, restaurant industry, losing their jobs, either temporarily or permanently, you have, I think the stat I was reading was 1 in 10 restaurants have closed permanently already.
Yeah.
20%, approximately 20% will probably close over the next month if things don't change. And when you start talking about the community impact of that, when you start talking about the financial impact of that, the personal impact of that, those numbers they're nuts.
They're staggered.
There's a million people right there.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I think, we, again, like going back to our staff, which, is a little bit different than most, particularly in the service industry. Having staff who's been with you for 20 years is very unusual. It offers us, again, so much support, but also so much more hardship, to be quite honest with you. I can't now tell you how hard it was, even though it's temporary, how hard it was to issue ROEs to our employees, wishing so much that we were in a position that we could just keep everyone on. This is their livelihood. This is our business. This is my family legacy. I've grown up here. This is all I've known. But so many people depend on these 4 walls, and so many little 4 walls like this across our city, across the country. They show up for work. They work hard. They take pride in what they do. And not a single person, not at the highest level of government, not their boss, not their employer, not their coworkers, not a single person can give anyone any reassurance as to how this all pans out. And it's not for lack of good intention. I think it's for a lack of information. I absolutely think the government needs to find a way to communicate with small business owners across the country. Because again, I'm not saying that the needs in Toronto are the same as the needs in, small town Manitoba. I don't know, but it is so imperative. They talk about small business being the backbone of the economy, but nothing put forth shows that. No small business is asking for a bailout because we've mismanaged or we've made mistakes or we've misread the situation. We are in an unprecedented difficulty right now. And no matter what we do, it does feel like there's no good outcome. And that's so painful, like truly so painful. We know that we will at some point be able to open our doors, and I know that we will welcome customers back, and I know that our staff will be back to work. Again, to what capacity, I don't know. But how long it takes for us to be able to breathe again. And again, we're coming from a best case scenario. I don't know what everyone else is coming from. And you can't be in this situation without thinking of people running the same kind of business we are, who were barely staying afloat to begin with. I think of my dad when he started this place, and again, invested every penny he had, mortgaged his house, sold his existing business, scared his family to death to try this. And imagine him being in a position like this, where then suddenly this pandemic hits, and everything you've invested potentially could be gone, and through no fault of your own, through things that truly no one can control. And I imagine how many people there are in this city right now who are in exactly that position, who have taken a risk and taken a chance and opened this business that means so much to them, and they don't know if they can keep it afloat for the next month, let alone the next 10 years. Those people need our help. Those people need support. Those people need the government to hear how impossible the situation is for small businesses, truly.
You put I'm getting choked up myself, and I feel you, because it's
You're welcome.
yeah, no, I often say that on the food tours. It's that classic immigration story: $20 in your pocket and a dream. And specifically, I'll speak about Greeks, people, food, and making you feel guilty for not eating enough food.
Yes.
Right. And so when you put your soul into every dish that you make, and people, and you're seeing people enjoying the soul that you put on that plate, it's an emotional experience for anyone who's had anyone in any industry who's put everything into something wholeheartedly, with the intention of enriching a community, giving back to people who have helped along the way, and being humble. It's a testament to your hard work, and it's a testament to the soul that you put into every table, every person, every dish, and every staff member that you've had over the years. If there's a time where you could avoid ordering, and I'm not going to tell people what to do, if there's a time and point where you can avoid ordering from the bigger guys and order from the neighborhood, small mom and pop shop, the family-owned restaurant around the corner, this would be the time.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Vasha Zindros, thank you so much. Owner of Mezes Restaurant in Toronto's Greektown. I did not expect to make you cry today.
Surprise.
And I don't, did you expect to cry today?
Oh yeah. Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
I wish you the best. And I just wish you the best in health and happiness and success. Weather the storm as best you can. The people will come. The people will always come back to Mezes. I love Mezes, and I think I can speak for a lot of people who also feel the same way.
Thank you. Well, we can't wait to see you here in person.
Awesome. Yes, without me in this headset, kind of organizing your next travel experience with this headset. Thank you.
Take care, and thank
Ciao.
you.